Welcome back. It's Friday afternoon, Fite Sports Uncovered with me, your host, Mark Joubert. So great to have you guys back for another fantastic show. And yeah, today's show, once again, proudly brought to you by Monati Chocolate, a fantastic bean-to-bar artisanal chocolate company. These guys are doing some absolutely fantastic work with regards to chocolate, infusing so many different flavors into raw chocolate. We're not talking the sugar-coated stuff, we're talking the raw cacao chocolate. Fantastic stuff. And we're going to talk a little bit more about them later because this fantastic hamper is up for grabs yet again. It's the third week in a row that we've been giving away these fantastic hampers, and you could stand a chance to win this hamper worth almost 2,000 Rand. Anyway, great weekend of Panchikiki took place this last weekend. If we look back, UFC Vegas 3, Curtis Blades did what he came to do. Didn't quite do it the way he wanted to do it, but after 5 rounds, he got that result over Alexander Volkov. And then in the other big combat sports action over the weekend, it was Emmanuel Navarrete. He was up against Uriel Lopez. In that non-title fight, you'll recall that Navarrete is the current WBO junior featherweight champion, and 6-round blitzing of Lopez keeps him back in the hunt. Obviously he couldn't lose that title, but a great performance by Navarrete, his first fight out of this global pandemic. But before we get to all of the detail of what happened over the weekend and what's coming up this weekend, because big weekend of fights yet again this weekend, my guest today, fascinating guy. I haven't spoken to him in a very, very long time. We're going to catch up with him. But right now we're in Boksburg. We're here at the East Rand Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy. The man to my right, he's known as Mandla Majola. To me, affectionately known, Manny BJJ. Mandla, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming all the way from Thailand to see us.
What's up, Mark? Good to see you, brother.
It's been a long time. 2017, 2018, I last chatted to you. We were on radio then.
2017. I'm pretty sure it's 2017. I'll double check, but yeah.
You had more hair?
Yeah. On the sides.
On the sides.
Maybe a bit less on the top.
Yeah. How's things been?
Same. Still on the same goal, same grind, jiu-jitsu, just really loving life. I feel like now even more than last time when we spoke, I'm just even more in love with life and just being a student of not just jiu-jitsu, but just a student of life, just learning, just enjoying the learning process.
I spent some time having a look and reviewing our footage from the radio interview, and then just for the viewers out there, your path in mixed martial arts started actually initially off in karate, moved into boxing, and all the while that was taking place, you were still trying to hold down a job in the insurance industry. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a toilet break that got you to make a very critical, pivotal decision in your career. Insurance or martial arts, am I right?
Yeah. We can go back into it. I remember, I was working the insurance job. Jiu-jitsu wasn't even a thing yet, of course. And I was also working this boxing job. Boxing was the first martial art that I fell in love with. So anyway, I'm working this boxing job, and after 5, I'm working this boxing job after 5. I'm just teaching beginner classes and stuff like that. But anyway, so can't remember what time of the day it was. I was, like semi-formally dressed. Don't like dressing that way, but was at work, and I need to go to the toilet. So I'm like, hey manager, I'm going. I go to the toilet. I don't time myself. I was just going to the toilet. I went to the toilet. I come back, and he's like, you're gone for 13 minutes, bruh. And then later on that day, when I was trying to leave to go teach the boxing, he was like, look, I know you enjoy, this stuff you go do after work, but you're gonna eventually have to make a decision, which is more important. Is it the boxing, or is this where you want to be? Bro, you're timing me in the bathroom. This is definitely not where I want to be. So shortly after that, I don't think I saw him again after that.
Last time in the corporate world. And since then, obviously, I know, viewers don't really know, you got into jits, you decided to get out of South Africa, you moved across to Thailand, and one thing that stood out for me in that interview that we did, and the exact, I've got to get the exact sort of quote here. You were told, go to Thailand, go and learn from Thailand for 3 specific reasons, if I remember correctly. One was high-level training. The other one was it's affordable. And the third one, which sort of is something I'd like to sort of pick your brain on a little bit more, is the food is good.
The food was good, but there's no food like food at home, man. That's what, if there's one thing I've learned, bro, there's no food. I've been to a lot of places, lots of different countries in the West, whatever. And man, food at home blows me away. Blows me away, really.
But food is what drives you?
Partly, at least 50%.
The other part is BJJ.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about your BJJ career. I mean, you went across to Thailand, you joined up with the guys at Top Team. Okay, short while later, you became their only sponsored jits athlete. I mean, they're a renowned MMA and Muay Thai gym, but you became their dedicated jits athlete. Talk us through how that process came about.
I always try to tell friends that, ask me as well, or people that I meet, and what I try to make them understand is it's nothing that special. People always, that's why we read books and listen to podcasts and all that stuff, because we want to find the secret ingredient to success, like what's the secret. And at the end of the day, we're all the same, we all start out the same. I just was I was prepared, right? An opportunity arose and I'd been working hard, so I was in a good position to make the most of that opportunity. That's really all that happened. I went to Thailand, I was just working hard every day. I was on the mat, I was competing, I was making friends. I think it also helps that I was making a lot of friends, not that I was just trying to be some brutes on the mat. I made a lot of good relationships, and a lot of people had my back. So when it came up that an assistant coach was needed, and not only in the adult class but also in the kids class, and a lot of people were like, hey man, Manny's over there. They vouched for me. They really believed in me. So it wasn't just me. Just like in jiu-jitsu, I can't get good at jiu-jitsu by myself. So yes, work hard, have self-belief, but always remember the people that are around you and in your community. Community was a big one.
And that's afforded you a fantastic opportunity to travel the world, compete in multiple tournaments, world championships. Let's not forget about world champs. I mean, that's the highest possible level. But you've met a lot of people. But the point I made earlier, Top Team is a world-renowned MMA Muay Thai gym. You've obviously trained with and alongside some of the global elite when it comes to Muay Thai and MMA. What's that experience been like?
Enlightening and humbling. Always humbling. When I first got there, for the first 3 months I was training everything. I was just trying to find myself as well. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was in all the boxing, not all the boxing classes, but I was doing boxing, I was doing the MMA, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, whatever. And I quickly found out in the Muay Thai that Muay Thai is very different to boxing. I've been a fan of MMA for a very long time. Even before I went to Thailand, I was watching the UFC, and I'd first watch, and first of all I thought jiu-jitsu wouldn't work. And then I thought, kicks, they hurt, but I did a bit of Muay Thai at home, but I really believed in hands. The hands is what worked, but when I got to Top Team, that changed very fast. In the Muay Thai, obviously, and then when I was training in the MMA, I learned a lot about distance from the wrestlers and the grapplers. And there was another homie over there, his name is Junie Browning. If you're a long-time fan of the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, you'll know who Junie Browning was. A good homeboy of mine when I got there, and he put hands on me. He took me down, couldn't move, couldn't throw strikes. So if anything, it was enlightening. You just learn about how little you know, really.
Talking UFC, like you said, you still actively watch a lot of what's taking place globally on the combat sports scene. Your thoughts last weekend, UFC Vegas 3, Curtis Blades using a lot of groundwork to... Scary. A man of that weight throwing his weight around like that.
Scary stuff. Curtis Blades is scary enough in someone's close guard. There aren't a lot of fighters that if they're in another person's close guard, their ground and pound is not always as effective. We saw it against Alistair Overeem when Curtis Blades was
the elbows, yes, devastating.
Away. We saw a bit of that again against Volkov, but even more, a lot of people were calling him a heavyweight Khabib. That's what he looked like. Put you against the fence, almost allow you to get back up to your feet, just to take you down again.
I mean, obviously setting that new heavyweight record, 14 takedowns in a single heavyweight bout, so a brand new UFC record there, so big up to Curtis Blades on that. Definitely cementing himself as a heavyweight contender. The big problem though for him though, my opinion, is one man, Francis Ngannou. Beaten him twice, he is arguably the number one contender ahead of what happens between Stipe and Cormier. But do you think there will be a trilogy of fights between Ngannou and Curtis Blades?
I don't know. I'd like to see one. How did the last one end?
Both sorted out.
Unfortunately,
yep. Ngannou just too powerful.
No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a trilogy.
You don't want to see a trilogy?
No, I don't want to see a trilogy. Save Curtis Blades a trilogy with Ngannou.
Let's look forward. This weekend, we've got UFC Vegas 4. Dustin Poirier up against...
Hooker. Dan Hooker.
Correct, Dan Hooker.
Hangman.
Yeah, the Hangman.
Keen, super keen. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful.
Hooker's the underdog. Across, I mean, at the moment, just looking, is the underdog. Do you think he's that legitimately an underdog against Poirier?
I mean, we'll have to see. Poirier looked really, really sharp against Holloway. And I wasn't sure how that fight was going to go. I guess also Holloway going up, he really felt that power at the heavier weight class. But I feel like Hooker's going to feel the same thing.
You think so?
I feel Poirier's a lot more heavy-handed than what Paul Felder was.
Correct.
Right?
And that was a close fight.
Very close fight.
Very close.
But if Poirier can connect nearly as much as what Paul did, I think it's going to be a very rough night for Hooker. I don't see Hooker hurting Poirier. I see him landing, just like Max Holloway landed, but then
just not
the
going to be
return.
Well, I suppose we're going to have to wait and see. Mandla Majola giving us his thoughts on what's coming up this weekend at UFC Vegas 4. Remember, this is the last Vegas event before Fight Island kicks in. I don't know if I'm excited about Fight Island. I don't know what to think. We've had some really exciting fights happen in the smaller cage at the Apex Center for the UFC. So I think we're going to see a very different kind of fight breakdown in Fight Island on the larger cage. We're going to have to wait until July for Fight Island. Before that, it's UFC Vegas 4 coming up this weekend. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I got a couple of very interesting questions for my guest, Manny BJJ. Don't go away.
Introducing the new, fresh, and exciting Rhapsody of Realities app 3.0. The Messenger Angel Rhapsody of Realities just got a new updated app for reading Rhapsody daily articles. Enjoy reading and listening to your Rhapsody on the go while taking advantage of these amazing features. Brand new design. Enjoy the new design built to take advantage of the latest technologies to make your app experience awesome. It's simpler and easier to use. With just one click, you have access to the article for the day. It's that easy. Sync notes. Pin down moments of divine inspiration while studying the devotional and sync them to the cloud to be available anywhere, anytime. A new interactive store. Visit the store and get all books by Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome for people of all ages and download them to your library. Store your favorite books in an easy access folder. Enjoy unlimited access when you upgrade to our premium subscription. Gain access to the complete package of Rhapsody of Realities every month. This includes the entire month's devotional on the go with free audio devotional add-ons. Track your reading habits daily with our automated calendar and identify unread days for the devotional. Read further studies right within the app. Download the new Rhapsody mobile app today for free and be inspired anytime and everywhere on the go. Available on the Google Play Store.
Right, welcome back, Fite Sports Uncovered. And yes, if you were watching the first part of the show, you know that the show is probably brought to you by Monati Chocolate. And while we were away, as always, the last 3 weeks, we've been tucking into some of this delicious Monati chocolate. You'll see there's a couple of the small pieces they're missing, and there's a good reason for that. And if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you'll know that my guest and myself, we get to tuck in, and I leave it in my guest's hands to choose which of the flavors he likes the best. And I'm going to throw it out there. Mandla, you got a taste of a couple of those pieces of chocolate. What flavor sort of did it for you?
Orange and honey.
Orange and honey. You heard that. Mandla likes orange and honey. And if you want to win this wonderful hamper, valued at almost 2,000 Rand, all you need to do is send us the answer to the question. And the question is quite simply, what flavor of Monati chocolate did Mandla Majola, my guest, enjoy the most today? If you WhatsApp us your answer, the WhatsApp number, +27 83 885 2040. Send us your answer before next week's show, and you could be a fantastic winner of this wonderful hamper valued at almost 2,000 Rand, courtesy of Monati Chocolate. Back to our conversation we were having, and we were having a fascinating chat about upcoming UFC events and what's going on, but I want to walk away with that. I want to talk a little bit more about the game, the jits game, the rolling game. A couple of very interesting questions I want to throw at you. So you spent a lot of your time at Top Team training not just adults, but training kids. I remember some fascinating stories about orange juice in our last discussion. So here's a question for you. As a trainer, a coach, a teacher, kids or adults, what would you choose?
It's not good to have favorites, man.
Especially if you don't say kids.
Favorites, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't think I have a favorite. It's so different teaching adults opposed to kids. Especially like when you're teaching the kids, you really have to really break techniques down to the most minute of details, you know, like I want you to take your right hand and, you know, with the kids, with the adults, sometimes you actually have to do that with the adults as well.
I was just going to ask, is it not the same, especially when you're talking to beginners, because they need to be shown, I know from my experience, get that hand in there, move that hand round there. You know, there's all of that sort of very, very simplistic sort of instruction that's got to take place.
Mm-hmm. But then I guess kids and adults learn a little bit differently, and in order to hold the attention of a child versus an adult, sometimes with the kids you have to be a little bit more playful, right? Jiu-jitsu, at the end of the day, I feel like should always be playful, but with the kids you really have to incorporate more games. You know, your choice of words has to be different when you even like playing the games, you know, like ride the ball instead of just like take the back and hold on, don't let him shake you off. That's what you tell an adult if you want to teach an adult how to be in that backpack position on another opponent's back and have that seatbelt and be tight and chest to chest, ear to ear. With the child, you just have to say, ride the ball, you know, like imagine that's a ball, just don't fall off, be nice and tight, you know, so it's different. I really enjoy both, but I'll say this about the kids. The kids will, if you're having a bit of a down day, the kids will lift you up very fast. It's one thing the kids are doing, whether or not you want them to. You know, you're gonna leave training thinking, it wasn't that bad, man, you know.
Next question, gi or no gi?
Gi.
Is that like, not even.
Jiu-jitsu is in the gi, bro. It's in the gi. I love no gi as well, don't get me wrong, I love no gi. I train both. I've always competed in both, but gi is just so, you can just customize your game so much in gi. I don't know, maybe it's...
But does it not give you a false sense of security in the gi from the perspective that you've got so much available to you? You've got so much material, as in, when I say material, I'm talking actual material. You've got collars, you've got sleeves, you've got a whole bunch of stuff to it. I mean, you've got legs, the pants, legs, to be able to do those, to fulfill those chokes. No gi, it's your arm, it's your leg.
True.
You don't have
but
that
you
margin.
never know what life is going to throw at you. If you're a martial artist and you're training you're not just training for the next tournament. You're just training for life. You just love martial arts. You wake up and you martial arts. You eat, how you eat is for martial arts. How you sleep. So you want to be prepared for any situation, right? And life, from my own experience, most of my altercations I have that got aggressive and or violent, we were all clothed, bro. I had a jacket on, he had a jacket on. So he's wearing my weapon, I'm wearing his, just like in the gi. You put on your weapon, you put on my weapon, I put on yours. It's the same thing. I think train both, because some guys will just, maybe the shirt will come off, they'll take their shirts off, whatever, things happen. But you have to be prepared for both times. But more often than not, if a fight breaks out in a club or if you're driving around, the homie's gonna have some clothes on. And if you've got a collar, the collar's gonna work. All you need is a collar.
Interesting comment by Mike Bisping not so long ago. Never use jits in a street fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, never say never, bruh. Never say never. I love Bisping. I've been watching Bisping a very long time, but it depends. Again, like if you're outnumbered, don't use jiu-jitsu.
You're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
You don't want to be on the ground.
Correct.
If you're outnumbered. But if it's one-on-one, use your jiu-jitsu.
Do what you got to do.
Save your hands. If you've got soft hands, I got soft hands. You don't want to be cracking your knuckles or breaking your hands or whatever. Just take the guy's back, choke him out. You can subdue the man without inflicting any damage on him, unless damage is what you're after. If you want to hurt the person, then it's a different conversation. But if God forbid you end up in a situation one day on the street and you have to calm someone down, ain't no better way than just choke them out, let them rest for a little bit, and they'll be very calm when they wake up.
I'm sure they will. Nicely moves me to my next question. Jits or wrestling?
Again, it depends. It depends. If we're talking about strictly self-defense, I'm going to say jiu-jitsu, right? Because I don't have to be a Division I caliber wrestler to take down the average man I'm going to get into an altercation with on the street. So I'm going to say jiu-jitsu. And we all know most altercations are going to end up on the ground. So have the knowledge you need and the training you need for when the fight does hit the ground. But if we're talking about MMA, gotta wrestle, man. Gotta wrestle. I think everyone should do jiu-jitsu. Even if you do MMA, do jiu-jitsu too. But you have to learn how to wrestle, because then at MMA at the highest level, if you want to implement your jiu-jitsu in the fight, you're gonna have to know how to take the fight to the ground. And that's wrestling. Wrestling's super important.
Well, that's the beauty of MMA. It's a mixture of all of these various special disciplines that make up the sport of MMA. But as a purist, I'm sure you're always going to lean towards jits.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Final question for you. You've traveled the world. You've spent, 19 countries?
24.
There we go, 24. Add on 5. Sorry, I'm wrong. 19
right.
to 24. Okay, add on 5 more countries. If we were to look at your experience, if we were to look at what's your experience of what's happening globally in martial arts and specifically jiu-jitsu, we look at what you've experienced here in South Africa. International experience versus just keeping it local. I think I know your answer, but...
Exposure just to different styles, different exposure. The more variety you give yourself, the more different looks you have in training and in competition, the the more opportunity you're going to have to grow and to learn, and you'll be better equipped for having more variety.
In your experience, I mean, you've said traveled 24 countries. You've let's call it, you've fought across multiple continents. Okay, you've competed against jiu-jitsu practitioners from all over the world. The basic art of jiu-jitsu remains, there's a core, but there are like you get dialects of language, there are slight dialects of jiu-jitsu around the world. What has that experience been like for you in terms of picking up those subtle nuances from the Brazilians, from the Thais, from the Americans, from the guys from Europe? What has that been like for you?
It's been, like I said at the beginning, very, very humbling. One thing from that I've gained from all this traveling around and meeting so many different people is just like different kinds of love, right? People, why I've been able to do what I've been able to do is because there's so many people out there with such big hearts. If I want to go to the States, I've got a couch, and I want to go somewhere in Europe, I've got a couch. People are just so willing to open their hearts, their homes, willing to teach you. So from being able to train with so many different people, it's more than just being able to develop your jiu-jitsu and become a lethal weapon, so to speak. It's, man, you become so intimate. It's very intimate, jiu-jitsu. We're so close when we're rolling, right? But like you say, it's almost like we're talking, but we're not using words. It's vocabulary when we're training, right? And you need to increase your vocabulary to be better to articulate and express yourself on the mats. So that's what I've really gained from being able to train with people from all over the world. You see how similar we are. We're all very similar. We all just want to have a little bit of self-respect and a little bit of confidence, a bit of success, a bit of happiness, just trying to find our ways. And I feel, especially in such times, when racial tensions at home, we've always had racial tensions at home, overseas, not trying to get too deep in it, but when you travel and you mix with so many people, it just really melts away. Yeah.
Very, very, very important message, I think, that you're sending there. I think I've seen a lot of memes running around. I've seen a lot of comments running around that when you get onto the mat, it doesn't matter who you are. Rich, poor, black, white.
Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter if you're
big
from
guy, little guy,
Poland
it doesn't
or
matter.
from South Africa.
All here is an equalizer. Final question for you. Advice for youngsters. You've traveled the world, you've had the opportunity to meet some fantastically talented athletes and some guys that are literally starting out, guys and girls. What would your advice be for youngsters that are looking to get into martial arts?
Find, obviously, a good teacher. Find a good teacher. And don't be too hard on yourself. You'll see that with people not just trying to get to the gym, or even if people are just trying to lose weight, trying to break bad habits. People tend to be too hard on themselves. Just baby steps, that's what I'd say. Baby steps, set realistic goals for yourselves. If I'm a person and I want to say I've never worked out a day in my life and I want to start working out today, I'm not going to be able to sustain working out every single day for the next 30 days. Just for this week, maybe tell yourself you'll work out one time. If that's where you need to start, just start working out one time. Next week, work out 2 times, And also give yourself the rest you need to give yourself, like recover. There's always there's this notion in the fitness industry, especially, that you have to, one more rep, push harder. lift till fail, you know, till exhaustion, and train smart. Don't just train hard, train smart, and find someone that can help. Guidance is also very important, so a good teacher.
Well, there you have it. Man has traveled the world. He has been one of the only sponsored athletes at Top Team out of Thailand. Mandla Majola, right here on Fite Sports Uncovered. Mandla, thanks so much for your time. I hope this is not going to be the last time we see you. I know you were preparing for World Championships. Those have all been postponed. We wait to see how that pans out for you.
Next year.
Next year. Hopefully, we're going to chat to him before then. Definitely chat to him before then. But until next weekend, hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this weekend's hostilities. Enjoy the fights. But until next week, protect yourselves at all times. We're out.